YouTube. There's going to be a video on a variety of topics. So what should I start this on? All right, let's start this on Drew Brees. This is a topic I wanted to cover yesterday, but never got around to. Drew Brees, I guess, is a football player of some kind who made a video encouraging kids to take their Bible to school, because there's nothing cooler than taking your Bible to school. Yeah. Anyways, the big problem with this, of course, is he did so on a day that a group, an anti-gay organization called Focus on the Family, wanted him to held. So in other words, it really implies that he is pretty much siding with this specific or particular anti-gay organization, and they believe in such things as transgender people are going through a phase, a phase that transgender people are confused, mentally ill, or some other such thing. Gay people can be turned straight through pretty much what amounts to conversion therapy, or what amounts to a form of brainwashing and even torture. And this is pretty much a hate organization that targets gay individuals or individuals in the LGBTQ community. I was going to talk about this yesterday, but I didn't really realize just the extent that this goes and just how bad it was. So I'm glad I didn't, because I got to look up on it a little bit more. And this is actually quite ridiculous. And of course, people are mad about that. And he's not being censored or punished in any way. And as much as I don't like what he's doing, I don't think he should be, but I do think people should be able to let their opinions be known. And I think it's incredible to me how some of the same free speech conservatives, as they call themselves, are so quick to bitch and moan because people like me want to hold this guy to task. We want to take this guy to task and actually really expose what he's doing and what this group that he's supporting is about. And this is obviously very bad, and I think that people should let the guy know what they think about this and what they think about him. And it's actually quite disgusting. I think having these views of LGBTQ people are having such negative views of those people are wrong, and it really kind of is upsetting. So yeah, and as far as Christianity goes, I would like to say, beating Christianity is like beating the deadest of horses. I mean, it's a dead issue. You know, it's like it's like to borrow a phrase from the communist doctrine, it is like paper tigers. Christianity is done in the United States. I mean, that is a dead religion, and pretty soon we will be past that point, and we will be able to move forward. And I look forward to that. But as far as this idiot, I don't know anything about football. But if you do like football or you like sports, then I would suggest boycotting this asshole and not fucking having anything to do with him anymore. So that's my opinion. All right. Let's see. Anyways, oh yeah, environmentalist groups are trying to protect endangered bald eagle eggs, or the eggs of eagles that are on the endangered species list. And some conservatives are saying, isn't it interesting how liberals are so against killing these eagle eggs, but not a fetus? Well, first of all, let me state that not all liberals believe the same thing, and you don't know what these people believe because these are environmentalists, and they may or may not be for or against abortion. And second of all, notwithstanding the fact a fetus in the first term of a pregnancy is not a fucking child, and you're really just being a sanctimonious, moralizing douchebag. Not even withstanding that, we're against destroying these eagle eggs because that's an endangered species. Let me know when the humans are put on the endangered species list. Though granted, I'm sure no other animal would mind. But let me know when that happens, and I'll get back to you, and I'll be against aborting fetuses. Beyond that, I still think it's incredible, and I've talked about this before, how you're so against aborting a fetus, but you don't mind cutting off part of a baby's dick. For real. It's very interesting to me how you don't seem to give a shit about actual live infants. It's like you care about children up to the point of birth, and then after that, you don't give a fuck about them. Yeah, pop-ups. But you give a fuck about infants up until the point of birth, and then after that, you don't give a fuck about a human being. You don't want to know about them. You don't care about them. You don't give one iota of a fuck about them. You don't want to give them welfare. You don't want to give them food stamps, social security, health care. You don't want to take care of them. You don't want to do a damn thing until they hit military age. Then you want to send them to go fight your dumb fucking wars. All right. But again, the issue here is preserving an endangered species as a part of nature, because everything in nature deserves to be preserved. Big fucking difference. All right. There is a trucking recession, a recession in the trucking industry. Truckers are not trucking. On that issue, I would also like to say that, as I have talked about before, in terms of men's issues or male issues, and there are plenty of male issues, it is incredible to me how the group that supposedly has so much privilege work the worst jobs that can get you killed the fastest and get paid so little money for some of the shittiest fucking jobs you can imagine doing. With that being said, I do have to say, as far as trucking goes, I would much rather be a trucker than someone working at a construction site or doing some kind of construction work or something like that. Because it has to be a lot better to be able to drive across country and deliver cargo. 1 minute. Deliver cargo and other such things than have to break your back all day working in the hot sun. So I would much rather be a truck driver. As far as a recession goes, yeah, you're going to have plenty of recessions and lots of people out of work, and you already have had that. You're going to have lots more of that, and we may be back at a point where we're living in tents again. Because, and I'm not necessarily trying to shit on Trump here because I don't really have anything against the man, but he was a short-term fix to a long-term problem. The current society and the current civilization isn't working anymore. We have outlived this version of society. We need to move into something bigger and something greater, and we need to change and to further develop ourselves as a species. And we're just not doing that. And the public, so fucking tired of this. Pop-ups, as always. But anyways, the public are too fucking ignorant, obviously, to know that they need to change, and they're still trying to either, like, they're trying to do this, that, or the other thing. A lot of these conservative idiots, they want to return to this 1950 Believe It or Beaver bullshit concept of what a society was that it never was. We were never that in the first place. But they want to go back to that kind of society, and there's no going back to that if there was a such thing. And personally, I see that as a repressed, hypocritical ideal of what the human species is and what America is, and I don't want to go back to that. But if you could, and I did want to, you couldn't. We have to move forward. We have to develop ourselves. We have to change. We have to move into something different. And so far as it is, we're just not really doing that, currently speaking. Surging homeless. I forget where it was, but there's a surging homeless population somewhere, and they may be bringing back leprosy, or leopards, like leopards in the Bible. Sorry, again, I have speech issues. The fucking point is, I think it's getting pretty bad where people like me, the liberals of the world, have to go back to doing what we did prior to 1 AD, and go back to doing the same thing Jesus did, where we have to defend the homeless. They keep you from, killing them or throwing rocks at them. Like, go away, dirty homeless person, go away. Yeah, it's pretty bad that I have to now keep you from doing that, and we have to keep you from doing that. But we're getting to a point where that's the case because you're a mindless fucking mob with no fucking intelligence, and you have the mentality of a fucking 6-year-old picking on another kid at school. You're like children picking on the weird kid. It's really bad. But no, I don't think homeless people are bringing back leprosy. Maybe they are, and maybe if that's the case, why don't you solve the problem of homelessness instead of this hating the homeless? How about we try that for a change? Okay, let's get through this. Alexandria Cortez, not to diss Alexandria Cortez. I support Alexandria Cortez. I don't want you to think that I'm dissing her. I've got any problem with her because I don't. But she said something about impeaching Trump. Again, I have to ask. I think she is an intelligent woman. I have no issue with her. But sometimes I question that because again, let's say you did impeach Trump. What's going to happen then, huh? Who's going to become president? Mike Pence. Do you know any damn thing about Mike Pence? Are you honestly telling me you would really rather trade in what really, in all honesty, is a pretty moderate, um, more or less kind of nationalistic president? And I'm not a nationalist, and I don't like nationalism, but I can deal with that better than I can religious fanatics. And Mike Pence is a fucking religious fanatic. And you would rather let in a guy like Mike Pence become the president and get rid of Trump. And again, I'm not even sure what the particular issue was, but I'm not even sure how the hell you would get rid of him. And every time we have tried to get rid of him, all you have ended up doing is spending like $1 trillion looking for imaginary Russians or some other crap, and you failed every single time anyways. So that's fucking stupid. All right. And finally, drag queens in Australia. Yeah, they want a drag show for preschoolers in Australia, and they're saying this is sexually exploitative of children. And I know Australia does not have the issue with circumcision that we do in this country. They don't tend to do that as much. That tends to be us. But I think they do have rising rates. Our rates are actually declining. There's a rising, but nevertheless, I do find it interesting how these same idiots that are against first-time abortion, they're against child drag queens, they're even against vaccination. They don't never tend to say a damn thing about child genital mutilation. They don't care about mutilating their children's genitals. Yeah, it's wrong to abort a fetus that doesn't have the IQ of a June bug, and it's wrong to fucking let your child dress like a girl, and it's wrong to fucking vaccinate your child against diseases that can kill it. But it's not wrong to chop off part of his dick for seemingly no fucking reason, because yeah, that's logical. Not like logic means any damn thing to half the idiots in this fucking country anyways. But beyond that, just let me say, there is nothing sexual about dressing as a girl necessarily. There is nothing in and of that that is sexual, unless you're saying simply being a girl is sexual. And I don't think you're saying that, because if so, you are so fucking misogynistic on such an epic level that even an incel would find you offensive. The point being is, no one fucking is trying to sexualize children. Drag queens are a subculture. These are people that meet together, they dress as girls. They're not trying to sexualize these kids. These kids enjoy this. It's a hobby. It's fucking perfectly innocent. Get over your fucking selves. Stop trying to corrupt everything and tell everyone else what the fuck to do. Just because you think something is a certain way and you want to make everything bad and dirty doesn't mean it is that way. You're that fucking way, so you try to make everything else that way, but it's not. And finally, on a closing note, I would also like to say Tori Wilson recently said something. Tori Wilson is a former WWE diva, by the way. She recently said something to the effect of, when watching a bikini contest she was in, that women have come a long ways in wrestling. Yeah, you have, and your ratings have fallen a long ways. Also, and let me say, this would not mean much except for the fact she has said shit like this before, and even before there was a quote-unquote supposed diva revolution. She once said that she wanted to use still steps in a wrestling match. Because, yeah, I can see Tori Wilson and these other models that they had wrestling at that time throwing still steps at each other. And do you really blame the WWE? If you were the WWE and she did ask for that, would you want to cover that fucking medical bill? And because these chicks are killing each other with steps, and they're not even fucking, because that's what they were hired to do, as model. And then they want to complain about modeling after she made the millions of dollars all these years later, and she married a baseball player or some shit and everything else. Now she's against that. But it doesn't matter, because I, like 5 to 6 million other fucking people, don't watch this shit. And she said something about returning, and yeah, she wants a title, because I'm sure she's more qualified for a title than chicks who are actually wrestling in ladder matches and everything else. But let me say this one thing. I, like 5 to 6 million other people, won't see her wrestle if she did return, and I, like 5 to 6 million people, won't see SmackDown when it goes to Fox, because we don't like this shit. It's boring. All they do is wrestle now. It's not entertaining. It's not creative. It's not creatively stimulating. It doesn't inspire you to do anything. It's not interesting. Fuck you. to the point. It's not interesting. It's not entertaining. And wrestling sucks. Anyway, that is all. Pay 666.